Welcome to Lynn Community Television's 2019 preliminary election results show. Tonight we will be announcing the results as they come in for the Lynn Councilor at Large, Ward Councilor, and School Committee races.
It's 8th. We're live. I'm Joe Spina, frankly speaking, and with James Carrigan of the American Dream. How are you, James?
I am terrific, Joseph. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, I think.
I'm
Never
happy.
know.
I'm happy to be here with you tonight.
It's fascinating that there aren't that many people running except in Ward 6. Everybody qualifies. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Across the board.
In Ward 6, 2 people will qualify and 3 people will not.
And that's about it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, we're going to invite anybody who wants to stop in. Any of the candidates can stop in or call in or whatever.
Right.
And
That's right.
we'll give them their...
If you come by, we'll give you 5 minutes.
That's it.
You can get a lot in 5 minutes.
Oh, they certainly can. Do they have to pay us?
No.
I mean,
Well, you're a Republican, Joe. I'm a Democrat. We'll do it for free.
yeah, we always think of money. We're for the big guys. But in any case, what's happening in the American Dream? What's coming up next?
Dan Cahill
Great kid.
coming on the 11th. Yeah, he's very smart and he's very funny, by the way.
Yes, he is.
If he ever leaves politics, he could be a stand-up comedian. And
I had him as a student
Oh,
many,
did you
many
really?
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And I absolutely adore his mother. She's
she's wonderful too. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a good campaign worker. I
Hot
mean, she
worker.
loves
And
loves
she's from
champagnes.
your side of the aisle.
Yes, she is.
You know, and she's a very honorable, as you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You know, we were talking before we went on camera about the past, you know, when
Yeah.
Republicans and Democrats actually went after they did battle, went out to Mario's and had a pop or two, you know, and it was a different world, a different attitude.
It was. You know, I have a note here. I did some campaigning with the Kennedy brothers, and JFK, not him, but he had somebody who used to work for him, was a volunteer, and he used to do practical jokes. The day after the Nixon debate, Nixon met with the press outside his hotel. And this guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he had this old woman say to Nixon, "Don't worry, dear, you'll do better next time." Oh! And then one other thing. Same election, Nixon was speaking in the back of a train, and this guy had the train pull away just as the speech started, you know.
Actually,
That was like the beginning of dirty tricks. Now it's really
interestingly, they were actually close, Nixon and Kennedy. They were friendly. They were reps
Yeah.
together. They grew
Yeah,
up together.
yeah, yeah.
So they weren't. It wasn't contentious between.
both smart.
Yeah, they both respected one another, and surprisingly, people don't realize that.
Right, right.
In fact, that election, Nixon actually did the right thing by not contesting some of the results because it would have torn the nation apart at that time, and it was questionable.
Imagine some people in today's world doing that.
Yeah, I mean, today that was never going to happen. Our number here, should we give our number, 781-780-9460, if anybody wants to give us a call. And then candidates out there. I noticed that Wayne Losey's not taking anything for granted because his signs up, I mean, it's like
If you
contagious.
drive down Linfield Street, he's
Unbelievable.
got a ton of signs. But somebody told me yesterday that Billy O'Shea, who by the way is a tenant in my building, so by way of disclosure, he's a good man. He's got signs all over Richardson Road. So it depends on where you go, I think.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Buzzy's out there. He's got these big signs out there as
Buzzy's
usual.
the best, yeah.
He's working hard. But I haven't seen very much activity from other folks. Are they just holding back for the final? Is that what it said?
I think so. I don't think people are worried. You know, the incumbents, for the most part, I think are in good shape in the city of Lynn.
We were taking a look at it. Do you have that graphic, Dave, if you could put it up, which talked about the population increases in the city from election years? I don't know if you have it, Dave, but yeah, there it is. If you take a look at the red, that's 2018, right? And the city had, what, almost 54,000. And how many people actually voted? And this is in the final, right? 29,000. That's not very good, James.
Well, I mean, there are a lot. I think the turnout tonight's going to be extremely low.
Low?
Low, very low.
You know, I voted early, so I
might
can't.
even set a record.
Yeah, for few
Yeah.
few people. And that's not healthy. And you
No,
know,
it's not good. It's not good at all
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, go ahead.
I was impressed with, and I'm happy to see a number of folks who are running who have names other than vowels at the end or from your part of town, right? I mean, we have a
Oh, yeah.
different flavor, and that's good.
It's a diverse city.
Yeah.
I just want to say something. Former mayor and the late mayor, Pat McManus, always talked about, he quoted Teddy Roosevelt, and I have the quote here. It's a long quote, so I'm going to shorten it up. He talked about people running for office. You obviously recognize this. He said the credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. He was talking about people who had
Yeah.
the courage to run for office. Now, you've done it. You know the drill, right? When you're thinking about running for office, you can't think about anything else. That's all that goes on in your mind. And then you talk to your family, and then you talk to your friends, and all this decision-making is going on in your head. So I had 5 elections in 3 years, and I won 4. That's an 80% record, John.
Better record than I had. Guys.
But then you're thinking about getting signatures. You have to get, depends on the office you're running for, so many signatures. And then it goes on and on and on. And then you got all your friends and all your family are with you in April. And they're still with you in August, except they're all at cookouts and they're all elsewhere. So you're by yourself campaigning. And that can be a very discouraging time. I've talked to candidates over the years. I say, whatever you do, just hold your head up high and keep on slugging. And
It's very difficult to talk to large groups. I remember when I ran for office, the audience was the supporters of the candidates.
yes, right.
There were no
That's right.
votes to get.
Throw out
So
names
you're
and-
talking to no one, basically. Their minds are already set. So it's difficult.
Except for the item.
Well, you're hoping that you get a good headline or a good line in the media, and that's a hope.
Right.
And that's problematic. If in fact the paper of record is not favorable towards you or favorably inclined
Right.
towards you,
Right.
a sentence here, a sentence there, or an adjective can really destroy you
It
in
can.
no time fine. And that's the problem. I would argue that the current president of the United States has got slaughtered over the last 2.5 years. I've never seen anything like it. Some of it's justified, but a bunch of it isn't. I mean, you could use the same critique of others that
Oh,
got a pass.
I don't think so.
Well, I know that you're being
Respectfully.
partisan on that one.
No,
But
I think I'm being objective. Look at his performance, man. 10,000 lives, more now. I mean, he's had another.
well, I don't think
month
any
or
lie is
so.
bigger than you can keep your doctor.
Who said that? Obama? Is that what he's saying?
I
Do you
didn't
know
say
any-
it.
Do you know anybody who lost their doctor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they lost their insurance too. And by the way, what difference does it make? That was somebody said that, right, over deaths in Benghazi, about a video that wasn't the cause.
Are you
It was a
talking about?
lie.
You're talking about Mrs. Clinton?
I'm talking about Hillary, yeah.
Let me
Benghazi.
just say
So what
one
I'm
thing.
saying
Wait,
is,
can I just
Sure.
talk to that point? So she was investigated by the Senate, who was Republican, and they interrogated her. They had the best lawyers, they had the best minds in the Republican Senate. They spent 13 hours in one day, and they couldn't touch her because she was telling the truth and she was smart. They couldn't touch her. They couldn't lay a glove on her. They were all embarrassed when they got through that day.
do you remember William Sapphire?
Yes, I liked him.
William Sapphire said something 25, 30 years ago about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
He said she was a congenital liar.
Well, that may be so, but not.
Okay.
Not
The
like this
Washington
guy.
Post is not.
By the way,
by-
I don't know that that's true.
Well, the Washington Post has a Pinocchio scale, right? One of my Italian friends, a little puppet there with the big nose.
Yeah.
Every time he told a lie. she was a champion for Pinocchios. I mean, she was dodging bullets in Bosnia. Remember that? These are lies, and embellishment. For God's sakes, I mean, I like Joe Biden, but he tells more stories than you can shake a stick at.
Before we go too far afield.
Exactly.
We have an election tonight.
That's what we're talking about.
And people want to hear about that. So, and I think the most interest is on the Ward 6 race.
Absolutely.
And Joe Scanlon, who's affiliated with the station, is at City Hall. And as soon as those Ward 6 results come in, he's going to contact the station.
Right.
And then we'll report
the polls are closed now.
Yep.
And it's a light turnout, so we should get the results very quickly, right?
Right, yes.
Who are and you get the board, you can see, who are the 5 candidates up in Ward 6, correct?
Yeah, it's...
Should we give a rundown of who they are?
Sure. By the way, just let me say parenthetically, because this is the time to say it. When I ran for office, I don't know how you felt about this. This was the most exciting time in the whole election. The time after the polls closed, but before you got any results. It was just unbelievably.
It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking Ward 6. Fred Hogan, he is the incumbent. He was appointed by the Lynn City Council. He's the incumbent city councilor.
Well, that's questionable. I mean,
No, it's not. He is the incumbent. He wasn't elected. He was elected by the Lynn City Council.
That's right.
He replaced Peter Capano.
Yeah.
Where are we in Ward 6?
Yeah.
And then Donnie Castle, who ran for school committee years ago. Do you remember that election?
Yes.
He came in first, and then he didn't, and there were 6 spots on the school committee. And he couldn't take one in the final. I don't know what he did. I never talked to him about it. He came in first in the primary. Then he didn't get elected. And Senda Da, who's got really well qualified. She's very smart. She used to work for Steve Walsh.
Has she got a chance?
Well, anybody's got a chance.
Of course, but I mean, realistically.
No. Let me tell you my take on her. As I just said, she's very smart. She used to work for Steve Walsh, Representative Steve Walsh, who was extremely smart. And I'm sure she had the opportunity to pick his brains over the years when she worked for him. She's a woman. She's the only woman in the race. I believe she's Cambodian.
So she's minority?
Yeah.
So she's woman, minority, and that seems to be a winning combination if you look at the national level.
Yeah, except I don't know if you're a Cambodian that you're going to play well with say Hispanics or vice versa. I don't know if it works like that.
Yeah.
So she's going door to door in her campaign.
That's a wise
And that's
thing
the
to do.
single best thing you can do.
Absolutely.
The best thing you can do. You did it. I did it. That's what gets those of us who have never been in the business before elected. Because other people sit home and they wait for the rallies and the big crowds. They don't come.
No, that's true.
So I think that race is going to finish in that order, those 3 people.
Well, Dave Ellis, who was the Ward 6
Right.
council in the past, he's trying to get back in there. That's a hard thing to do, by the way,
It is.
to make a comeback. Yeah.
Psychologically, it's a hard thing.
It really is. And so was a...
Yeah, Jimmy Gonzalez.
Okay. And he would be, that's the 5th individual?
That's the 5th person, yeah. Very popular guy in the city of Lynn, right? Whether that will translate into votes today, I don't know. So there's the lineup.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, they also have Ward 7. My good friend Jay Walsh is there. He's the incumbent. And by the way, Jay's a union guy.
Why is Jay Walsh up there?
They just put Ward 7 up there.
Okay.
And Jay's a union guy. He's no longer with the union or with the company. He's in his own business now. But the thing about union people, union reps, you know Kevin Ma, you must know Kevin.
I do.
They serve people. So they already are used to constituent service. And Jay is the best at it. So that serves them well when they run for office. You know?
Oh, yeah. In fact, he ran a pretty down,
Yeah.
He's a nice kid.
He's a terrific guy.
He's a nice kid.
Terrific guy.
So, basically...
And by the way, Reynoso, I don't know him at all. who's running against Jay.
Well, the point is this, is that tonight, they're looking to jockey in position, although it's hard to tell because such a small turnout, right?
Right.
So what you want to see is what is the range between the incumbent and the challenger, whether they're, like the last time in Ward 1, O'Shea gave Wayne Losey a run for his money, and Wayne had to put on the afterburners in order to pull ahead, and he did. And this time, I don't know what it means, anything, it's just visual. I mean, you're right, up and down Linfield Street, all I'm seeing is Wayne Losey signs all over the place.
That's just one street, though. I mean, Billy O'Shea is
Well,
an
you know,
experienced
that's why I drive,
campaigner. He's
yeah.
a smart guy. His
Yeah.
father, did you know his dad?
No, I did not.
His dad was a counselor also. He was an attorney and a counselor.
So that's gonna,
Also a nice guy.
that's going to turn out to be an interesting race in the finals.
Oh,
too.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So that's a
and
feature.
whoever comes in any of these races, whoever comes in first in the preliminary does not necessarily mean they'll come in first in the final.
Oh no, of course not.
It depends on how
But
you.
it's important for position. Psychologically, it's
Oh,
important.
of course it is.
All right, so now, let's go down. In Ward
All right.
1, it's Wayne Losey versus Billy O'Shea.
Right.
That's a rematch.
Right.
All right. In Ward 2, Starbot, ironically, is unopposed.
He's
running.
a nice guy.
Yeah, he's running
And
against
he's a hard worker.
very hard work.
And that's why I think he's running unopposed.
So he's unopposed.
Right.
Up in Ward 3, Council President Sear has a rematch with George Maniotis, the real estate guy, right?
Right.
And that seems to be, that's going to be an interesting race in itself. Richie Colucci, is he running in a rematch, the gal that he's
She
running?
has run before, whether it was the last time or not, but I'm pretty sure she has run against, Colucci's been there for a long time.
Yeah, well, he's
So I
the
think
senior.
Right. So I think she did run against him before.
A couple of times, I believe that's
Yeah.
the case. So that's in 4.
Right.
In 5, Diane Kakoutis is running against Marvin Hippolyte, is that how you say it?
Yes.
And that was a fairly close race, by the way, in the final. It was only about 100 votes differential between the two.
Right.
And if the demographics change in that particular ward, which they can, that's going to favor Marvin, isn't it?
Maybe.
How come the maybe? Why the hedge?
Well, why wouldn't they favor her? Because she's a hardworking counselor.
She is.
and
She's a very good counselor.
she is.
There's a lot of good people that get beat.
Oh, no question about it. You and I.
So we're not
witness to
talking
that,
about
yeah.
whether they're good or bad people. We're talking about.
No, I'm talking about she's a good counselor. That's what
She
I'm
is a
talking
good
about.
counselor,
Yeah.
and she does
And
her
by the
work.
way, he's a nice guy. I met him a couple of times. He works for
Yeah.
the congressman, and
And we already talked about 6 and 7. Jay Walsh is running, and you mentioned it,
Yeah.
and that's basically it. Now over to the school committee, we have what, 3 new faces coming in there?
Yeah.
Oh well, let's go at large. At large, there are 4, and 8 can qualify, but there's only 7, so it's automatic.
right, they'll all get in.
They all get
in
in.
the preliminary.
This is very important for positioning, by the way, because
Yeah.
you can vote for 4 people.
Right.
So you have Jose Encarnacion, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
He's a new face. Joel, is he related?
I have no idea.
To
We've
Marvin?
got several
Yeah.
people that question tonight. Nobody knows.
And then we have
So
Ernesto.
Marvin, Jose, what's his first name?
Marvin?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's
The other one's Joel.
Joe.
Yeah.
Call us and let us know if you're related, please.
And then there's Ernesto Pena.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 seeking a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And interestingly, they looking at the names, they're immigrants and probably background, which is a good thing. They represent the new breed coming in.
Right.
And I find that to be encouraging. School committee,
Why do you find that encouraging?
because when I see, I tutor MCAS, and the kids I see coming from Central America, predominantly the kids I tutor, from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Those kids come to school, they're very polite, well-dressed. After school, they go to work. They work 40, 50 hours a week and come to school. They're hardworking. They have family, they have values. We should learn from them. And that's what I'm talking about. We need to get that. I come from an immigrant background. I saw my father who went to the 3rd grade and what he had to go up against.
Oops. Results.
Oh, we got some results in there.
Hogan, 312. Look at that. Don, 302.
You mentioned
Castle,
that.
152.
So That's a pretty close race between the two. Is this a final? So that's it? I mean, that's going to be a tough race, huh? Hogan versus...
That's the final election result?
Yeah, those are the final results they just told us of Ward 6. So it's official, be Hogan against, and you mentioned that she was against Cinder.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Cinder, and congratulations
congratulations
to Mr. Hogan.
Too,
and,
Fred.
And that's going to be it. I mean, what's fascinating is where do these votes go? Where does Castle, where's Ellis, and where's Gonzalez go?
I think they're up for grabs. There aren't that many. Look at them. Even between Ellis and Gonzalez, there's only 96 votes.
I mean, there's a 10-vote differential there.
Yeah. It's up for grabs.
Certainly is. What's the total there? 6,
312.
7, 8, about 850, right? Roughly? You're right, it's a very low turnout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forget how many voters.
But you mentioned she went door to door, and it paid off.
I think they all did.
Well,
when I say the top 3 did, but some did it better than others, apparently, or did more doors, or presented a better campaign, better appearance.
we'll find out in the finals. That's going to be one to watch. So we got Ward 1 to watch. We got that to watch. Do we have any results on the school committee at all to find out whether, in fact, what the positioning is and at large? I'd be interested to see how those stack up, because there they go. Nothing's in on any of them. Huh?
Yeah.
So Lopez, Magnolia, and who? Those are the only 2 new faces
I guess so.
running. Yeah. I had another one, but anyways, that's 6 get on the school committee, and
Right.
there's only 8 there. So 12 could have qualified.
That's right.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Jimmy. There should be 12 people. There should be 12 people,
Well,
at
I
least.
talked before, I quoted Pat McManus. It takes guts to get into the race.
I
You
remember.
put yourself, you did it. You put yourself on the line.
Yep.
You don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look like a jerk. You want to look like who you are. And people are afraid to do that. And in these days, I talked about a couple of jokes that a guy pulled in 1960. These days, they're
Oh,
vicious.
yeah. Oh,
They're
forget.
vicious.
No, you can't. Jimmy, you're absolutely right about that. Listen, Dave, this earpiece keeps falling out of my ear. I'm going to fly without it. James, I'm going to hold you to being able to direct us through the evening. So it's official in Ward 6.
Yeah.
We have a new face in Cinder Dunn.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And congratulations again. And
you're
Walsh.
welcome to come down. And Fred, come on down.
School committee. Now, we're looking for, all we're looking for is position. That's it.
That's right.
Right.
I mean, you might get some sense if all of a sudden somebody's didn't do as well as they did
who's
2
working,
years ago.
what the
Yeah,
attitude is, even though it's a small sampling,
Right.
it still matters.
Right.
So, are we going to have results coming in on any of these, do you know? I'll look at you and talk to you, and you can signal me. How's that? That will work, since the earphone doesn't work out. Let's get back to that graphic on the voters in Lynn elections. And it seems to me that, you have that up there, Jim?
I have it right
Yeah.
now.
It seems to me that we picked up about 1,000 votes in population registered voters from 2017 to 2018. That's a pretty big jump, 1,000 extra voters. That's a good sign. But take a look at what happened in 2017. Look how many people voted. 15,000 out of
Right.
52, almost 53,000. I mean, that's got to change.
I don't know what to say, except for this one thing. Take a look at the school committee curriculum. And what do the schools do now with respect to civics?
They don't teach it any longer.
Right. I think that's going to change, by the way.
I do. I agree with you.
And I think that's directly related to the lack of interest.
It's interesting because the American Dream, your program, is dedicated toward civics and interaction between government.
Right.
And you're trying to educate folks about their responsibility as U.S. citizens.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
It's
But you're
wonderful.
right. You're almost like a lonely voice out there.
Well, no, there's a lot of other
No, it's
people
not too
out
many.
there.
There's not too many, you, and you're not gonna like this one comparison, but Mark Levin, sit there and from different perspectives, but you're upfront about the importance of the Constitution, about law and responsibility as a citizen. Both of you do that, and that's a healthy thing. And frankly speaking, we're a little, bombastic at times, what can I tell you?
Well,
But,
you're a lot of fun, though. I don't have
yeah.
any fun on my show.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all serious stuff.
We like to hit a lot of different topics and,
Yeah.
and that type of stuff, and some people like it and some people may not, but you have to be, one thing I have to say about the American dream, and frankly speaking, folks, is that at least we tell you we're transparent,
Right, yeah.
and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
And, though you and I have different political
Yeah,
philosophies,
but
it
we're
doesn't
friends, though.
necessarily.
No, we're friends. I have the greatest respect.
You like to
for
quote people? I'll quote one. Jesse Jackson. You need two wings to fly. That's it. So a bird can't fly with one wing. So one side and the other one side the other way, not good. You need to find that middle ground. And unfortunately, that's not happening today, at the national level at least.
I don't know what to say about that, Joe.
Why?
Well, I'm from the left, as you know.
I know you are.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make you a bad guy, Jim.
No, no, no. I'm pleased to be there on the left, and I think I should be, and I think a lot of us should be.
Yeah,
We-
okay.
We help people. I went to St. Mary's in Lynn, and I had a nun in the 5th grade, Sister Bernadette Marie, and she just really turned me on to politics, and I learned a lot from her, and I've been in it ever since.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
See, on the other hand, I happen to have read The Prince, Machiavelli.
I've read The Prince.
Yeah, and, I went the other way.
Good tactics.
Yeah, I mean, and Von Hyatt, Road to Serfdom, Huxley, Orwell, Ayn Rand.
Those guys were crazy. The Prince
So
was
I'm more interested in going from that other perspective. We got a note coming our way, so let's see what we have here. We will let you know when there are more results. That's what we're having. And we'll probably be able to wrap this thing up.
Very early, I
Yeah,
think.
because the key race was Ward 6, and we know what's happening there. But let's do a little civics exercise.
Can I say one
Sure.
thing first? We congratulate all of the candidates. Go back to that Pat McManus, Teddy Roosevelt quote, "You're in the arena." And that applies to everybody who ran in this election. And whether you win or lose, the fact that you got into the race says a lot about you, and we are all grateful for it. In addition to the candidates, their families have to put up with a lot of
Of course.
aggravation and their friends. So congratulations to all of you. You did a great job, and we'll move on. And we'll just keep on plugging and try to get those votes up
Here's
in
the
future
thing.
elections.
Here's the hard part is being able to accept rejection. A landslide is 53% of the vote. That's a hard pill to swallow, when you think you're such a popular guy, people should listen to you, and you might get 48% of the vote.
When I talked about earlier about the soul searching when you're trying
Right.
to decide whether to be a candidate or not, that I did an analysis of that in my own head. I said, well, you got to be prepared, because I had no idea. I'd never been a candidate before. You got to be prepared to lose too, Jim. Can you accept the loss?
Well,
And I concluded that I could. So then it didn't become an issue for me.
one of the things that I had some competitive races with Wayne Losey's dad.
Yeah.
And actually, both of us developed a very strong bond and friendship. It's like two boxers to box
Yeah,
each other.
right, yeah, I'm
you
sure.
go 15 rounds with somebody, and it's a split decision. You learn to respect one another,
Right.
and that is what I liked about the era in which I was involved in politics actively, and I miss that type of camaraderie that doesn't seem to be there anymore.
Does not.
And it's a sad thing.
You know, it's sad.
Go ahead.
You see anybody under 30, and they got their face buried in their phone. And so there's not a lot of camaraderie amongst people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's basically what it is. I mean, you know, a lot
that's
of
nonsense
crazy
for
stuff
Christ's
is
sake.
happening, and, you know, that is alien to me. I just can't seem to grasp why people do some of the horrific things that have been happening.
It's awful.
It's
awful.
I can't, just,
Nobody can.
and I don't know whether there's an answer to
The
it.
scary thing is you can't predict it. You won't know until
Exactly.
the
I mean,
event is
even
over.
and I love this city, Jimmy, as I know you do. That's my comfort zone. And, you know, some things have been happening in this city of late that disturb me. And, you know, and it bothers me that, you know, that it's getting contagious. It's at every level now.
It's happening all over the country.
Exactly, yeah. And, you know, it's funny that that's the way that is. But hopefully, you know, through the American Dream and Frankly Speaking and Lynn TV, I hope the people tune in to watch the program. We have a lot of really good programming here.
We do. Yeah,
And, you know, they have a terrific news program now that they're doing and getting a lot of response to it. So we need other voices, we need avenues to help the folks out there understand, or at least let them see what's happening in the city. They can make their own decision. It's their city.
on the American Dream, my next guest, I took the summer off.
Yeah,
is
Bill Kale,
going to
did he?
be Representative Dan Kale. As I told you before, he's very smart.
Yes, he
man.
is.
And he's hilarious. You know, I feel like Danny, tell us your 10 favorite jokes or something, but he's just really funny. I mean, he can, and that lightens
James, he had
everybody
me
up.
as a teacher. What do you expect?
Oh, that's right too, yeah.
I'm kidding.
No,
Yeah,
so I got somebody, the head of school and the principal from St. Mary's is going to come on, and I've got some others.
you know,
We've had some great guests. I had Mike Dukakis on. Guy ran for the presidency.
yeah.
And we sat in the studio and we talked about the campaign. I had Senate President.
Tell him to stay out of tanks.
But I never got that, but everybody else did. So I guess obviously I'm.
You know, I happen to have gone to that convention. At that time, I was doing talk radio over in Marblehead, Salem Station, WESX, and also cable work. So I got credentialed, and I went down in '88 to Atlanta, stayed at my nephew's house, and covered that convention. You know who was an impressive guy they met down there? The former president of the Senate,
Birmingham? Oh, Bulger. Oh, Billy Bulger. Smart.
He was a
Very
very
smart. man.
bright.
And also a great comedian. They seem to go hand in hand, the sense of humor and the brains.
He
but
did have. He was very
Yeah.
witty. But even the folks that were down there from the press, you remember Nelson Benton
Sure.
from Salem Evening News,
Yeah.
and Iverson from North
Howie.
Shore. Howard. I mean, they were there, and it was a different relationship. Taylor Armading, John Moran. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
there were a pool of reporters and editors locally that you could talk to on the record, off the record, or whatever. You didn't get misquoted, and that was it. And today you have to measure, like you said, everything you say, because people divine in their head what you're saying, and then you didn't say it all. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I think the item is not like that. I mean, the reporters they have there are really excellent, young and old.
They have a
Their
nice array. Yeah.
Their editorial staff is really smart.
Well, you know, in order to do a show in the City of Lynn, if you don't read the item, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You know, you have to,
Yeah.
you have to take a look at what's happening. One of the things that came up was, and this was kind of interesting, folks. I don't know whether you know this or not, but the price of real estate has gone up rather substantially in the City of Lynn. Yet sales are down, and you would think that that would be, you know,
That's because people are having a hard time getting mortgages.
that's part of it. And there are other things. It's attributed. I didn't read the whole article, but Grillo, who did a story on it.
Good reporter.
He does a good job because he understands economics trends. So I'm going to reread it and hope to get to that. But good things are happening in the city. The Masonic Hall, which was going to be a boutique hotel, is no longer. It's been resold, and apparently it's going to be proposed apartments, market rate. But there's a lot of stuff happening on the cusp in the city. And I wish I was a little younger so I could see it happen. But I'm happy it's happening. good things.
I am too, you know, and it really was affected by that incident in the Warren Street playground last week. That was a nightmare.
Exactly.
And that happens in San Antonio, it happens in Chicago, all the time in Chicago, but it happens all over the country.
There was more mayhem in Chicago this weekend than there was in Odessa, Texas.
Yeah.
And then nobody talks about it.
Oh, everybody's used to it. You know,
Should not get
it's
used to
awful.
stuff like
no,
that.
of course not.
That's
Awful.
the whole point. And I don't,
So-
and again, I don't know if anybody has the answers to it. I mean, you can do all the gun control laws you want, meaningless. And you know, if you want to control guns per se, you know, why not limit the amount of bullets that you can buy?
Well, let's talk about one gun
Yeah.
issue. There was an issue before, a law before Congress to ban assault weapons, and they did it. The problem is they put a time limit on it.
Okay.
But during that period, deaths were down.
We have a guest coming in here, and we're blessed by. Hi, Mr. Hogan. How are you?
How you doing?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good to see
Hi,
you.
Fred.
Thank you very much, Jim.
We were just talking about Warren Street, and you did a great job in that, by the way. Yeah.
Wow. You know, well, this is actually the first time you had to run, right?
First time I ran for anything. I ran for steward at my job one time and I lost. So
Don't feel bad. I lost a number myself, but you came on top today, and you're gonna have to work your tail off.
we're gonna have to work a lot harder.
Oh, sure.
I don't think we worked as hard as we could have. But it's very, very, very tight going in when the numbers were coming in. We're getting nervous, getting people out to the polls at the end late. We're getting a lot of late people out because.
It worked
with
because you
Labor
filled
Day-
on top.
Absolutely. I can't say enough about Ward 6 and the community I live in, and I thank them a lot, so.
This was a tough time to get out a vote
Yeah.
because of the summer. I mean, the summer just ended on Sunday, right?
Absolutely.
So, good job.
Yeah.
What are you going to do now, do you know?
What do you mean, what am I gonna do now?
No, I
For
mean,
work?
no, I'm talking about the election.
Well, actually, we have to clean up our campaign a lot, meaning get a lot more organized. Let me check this here, check it out there.
You know what? Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Is the cuisine, kettle cuisine is in your ward, correct?
It's a mix, yes.
So, what's interesting is that became an issue. Are you going to have to face issues like that and talk about issues like that?
Yeah,
That's-
absolutely.
that's-
We've been facing issues like that already
Yeah,
in
that's-
the
that's
ward.
what- so-
Ward 6 has a lot of different issues in the ward, so.
I mean, Ward 6 is where the action is, as far as
Absolutely.
development.
Not just development, we have a lot of things going on in our ward that needs addressing and stuff
So
like that.
it's more
there,
than
so.
just knocking on doors, Jimmy, in Ward
Absolutely.
6 in particular. It's really a discussion of issues, and there's serious issues in that
Yeah.
ward.
I know there are.
Absolutely.
But if you don't knock on doors,
You have to, yeah.
Absolutely.
Those
You
aren't
gotta
gonna know.
knock on doors and meet the people, and that's what we're doing. And one thing I met a lot of new people, a lot of new homeowners in Ward 6, which I'm very proud of, and I brag about them all the time. I met people that houses look amazing, and their neighbors are catching on to making their houses amazing. And you know, the thing I brag myself on since January, I answered every one of my phone calls.
that's great.
And I went to everyone's house. I don't just answer my phone calls. I come to your house and I meet you. And I look at the issues that you have and you take me around, and that's what I do. And I'm going to continue to do that there. And I'm going to work a lot harder this round here. Like I said, I got to get a lot more organized. This is my first time ever running the campaign.
Well, congratulations.
So, and like I said, to all the candidates that ran, it was unbelievable. They were everywhere. Donnie Castle, Dave Ellis, Jimmy Gonzalez, Cinda Da, unbelievable. We were crossing paths with each other all through Ward 6. Ward 6 met a lot of good candidates, and
So
we
are you
all brought
going
some
to be
different.
talking to the other fellas that weren't as successful? Are you going to try to enlist them into your campaign?
I'll talk to everyone, absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, there's a lot of voters out there. There's a lot more voters out there that we have to reach now. Like I said, there's some things I know I made mistakes with, and I have to get better with. And
What mistakes did you make?
I just don't think I was.
I'm a campaign
I
junkie,
just
so I'm always
wasn't
trying to
as
learn.
organized,
Yeah.
campaign wise, and you know, there's a couple of things I know I didn't do that I know I have to do. I just really don't want to put them out there. But
Okay,
I
that's-
know,
I understand that
I
too,
got to
yeah.
clean that stuff up. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Ward 6, I'm going to work hard for you. I'm going to continue to work hard for you. And when I got on in January, I said I was going to be the hardest working councilor in this city. And I'm going to continue to work hard for you and campaign. And I'll just let you know, I'm proud to be you guys' councilor, and thank you for your votes tonight.
You know, it's interesting to see someone, it's refreshing as a matter of fact, to say I made mistakes.
Oh, it is, good.
I mean, I congratulate you for that.
Well,
for
I
being
know
upfront and honest about
I'm
that.
not a perfect man. I
None of
never, I
us-
can never.
none of
Neither
us
is
say
he,
I was.
neither am I.
Right.
None of us do.
And you know, I hope I learn from my mistakes in the campaign and get better from it and meet and reach new people. And that's what, right up until yesterday, I met new voters, and it was unbelievable, and it's exciting. And then they came out today, and I got to shake their hand when they said they're going to come vote for me. So, like I
great.
said, I never did this before. This is my first time. You know, being a councilor, working a job, and campaigning is a lot of work. And I take my hats off to every single councilor, every single candidate that ran for Ward 6, and everybody throughout the city. I admire all
We talked
the
about
politicians
that,
now. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Well,
You
good
know.
luck
I'm one
to
of
you.
those.
Thank you
really-
very much.
Thanks for
Nice,
stopping by. I
definitely.
appreciate that. yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you,
okay,
guys.
yeah, good seeing you.
Brickyard, we're coming.
All right. But isn't that unique for someone to say, look, I made mistakes?
Of course it is.
Huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
Nice
So,
guy.
we have someone else coming on, I believe, and this is the number 2 person in Ward 6. Is it Cinta? Is she coming on here? Yeah, she should be coming on shortly, and
okay, well, that's good.
yeah, he was emotional.
He was.
Very
That's why I try
emotional.
to switch the
I
discussion.
mean, that's the thing you were talking about, you know, that feeling, you have,
yeah.
the emotions.
But that's a great quality.
It is a
for
great
for
quality,
a candidate.
yeah. When you mix the two, it's a great passion with intellect. It's a great combination. And speaking of passion and intellect, here is Cinta. Is it Cinta?
Yeah, it's Cinta.
Oh, sit down.
Hi.
Did they mic you up?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Jim, nice
Jim,
to see you
nice to
again.
well,
Yeah.
congratulations. So you and Mr. Hogan are going to be in for a little bit of a tussle, huh?
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Jim was saying that you were knocking on doors real hard.
I was. Our team has knocked on over 10,000 doors since
Wow.
March. We've spent.
10,000?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
We've just been. I've lost 5 pounds from it.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
a good
do it.
part,
Yeah.
And yeah, and you know, we tried our best. We worked really hard to try to meet every single resident of Ward 6, you know, and just get to know them, hear their concerns. And even if they, you know, outright told me that they were supporting other candidates, I'm like, that's okay. Because what I care about is what is best for our city, and what you care about is what I care about.
So what is it about Ward 6? What do you have any plans or any ideas that you'd like to disclose, or just pounding on the doors and introducing yourself?
It's introducing myself. It's letting people know that they have a voice, right? So I got into politics because my family was never empowered to use their voice in government. We didn't, you know, our home was going through foreclosure, and we didn't know where or how to ask for help.
Where was this?
On Lowell Street,
Okay.
yeah, in Ward 6.
Yeah.
And from that experience, I saw that there was so many other people that were struggling just the same as us, who were never empowered to use their voice, and never taught that, you know, our elected officials are there to help advocate for us, to represent us, and connect us with resources that we don't know about.
You probably never heard of this, but back in the 1960s, there was a federal program called Urban Renewal.
Yep.
And a lot of people went through what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And that got a lot of people involved. In fact, one of our mayors, Tony Marino, became mayor because of the Urban Renewal Program. He was opposed to it, so that's interesting.
Yeah, and so my goal is to empower our communities, let people know that, listen, Jim, everything you've gone through, it matters. You have a voice, and we can go, you have every single right to go to the State House, to go to City Hall, and talk about these issues.
What I'd like to see, I was talking to Jim, is I was really taken back by how few people who are eligible to vote actually vote. And that's a terrible, terrible indictment. See here in 2017, you have almost 53,000 registered voters and only 15,000 voted, and that's in the final. And when you're talking about empowering people, that's a noble thing. That's exactly what you have to do and
Yeah.
bring people into the game.
Absolutely. There have been so many people who, when we knocked on their door, they would say, this is the first time somebody running for office has knocked on my door. No one has come here before. And, you know, typically when you're not the typical super voter, you're not a targeted voter that people will go to. And so...
So
when
you went beyond super voters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain to our audience what a super voter is.
It's somebody that votes every single time, every election, whether municipal, whether state, all the time. Those are considered the for sure voters.
And you
so
had a list of super voters.
we had a list of all voters.
Yeah, and you went beyond the super voters.
Absolutely. A lot
Smart.
of people haven't been engaged or activated. And, you know, the residents of Ward 6 in Lynn, they're not asking for a miracle. They're just asking to feel heard and seen.
I think it's going to be terrific. Two emotional, hardworking
Yeah,
folks
so do I.
running. It's going to, you know, that's a race to really watch. And what's interesting about it is bringing people into the fold. That's you know, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
And I wish, you know,
Yeah,
everybody,
same-
you know,
same
you were
here.
talking about this, just to go out there and put your name on the ballot is a difficult task.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations for
Thank
doing that.
you.
And
We'll see you again. Hope you can stop by on the American Dream, and we'd like to have you at the time, and perhaps on Frankly Speaking, with the two of you.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
equal time is fine. You know, we'll work at that. We'll try to work something out between us. Huh? How about that?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for covering the
Oh,
election.
we're trying to do the
Okay.
best we can. You know, this is our first trip together too. You know.
Oh, really?
I've known Joe forever, but we've never done a show together. He has his own show, I have my own
Well,
show.
I'm a little bit right of center.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it is okay.
No, it isn't. No, it
Yeah.
isn't. Come over to you're on the left. I don't know where you are. I'm on the left. So.
Cindy, you be nice.
Thank
You have a
you
great
so
day.
much for
Appreciate
having
it.
me and inviting us on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
James, I'm impressed with the two candidates. I mean, if you know, you
Lynn's
have a
lucky
regular
that-
guy, a regular Lynn type of guy, and get a new face, both with a lot of energy, a lot of passion and emotion. Nobody's going to lose in Ward
Right.
6.
Right. It's
Yeah?
good to see. Yeah.
So that's a good talk. Anybody else coming in here? Anybody out there that wants to come in? We have what time is it now? I'm going to take a peek. We
12
got
minutes.
about 15 minutes or so. If anybody wants to stop in and close by and make your pitch. Have you seen Brian lately? Mr.
Brian
LaPierre?
LaPierre.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't.
You know,
By the way, I'm going to make a prediction. I don't know anything about that at-large race.
oh yeah, we
except-
got to get the results. You're right
Yeah.
about that. We
I
need
know-
this at-large, and we also need
School committee.
school committee. Yeah, if we can get those, we need those results before we go anywhere. Also, I'd be interested to see how CF fares against
Yeah. Manitas.
Manatias and Colucci and the rest of them. I'd like to see what the range is on some of those contested races. So, but that's a very good thing to see. This young girl, woman, lady,
You know, it's
who is putting herself out there and a lot of energy. A lot
Yes.
of energy.
a clean
you okay?
election. I'm fine. It's my
Are you
asthma.
sure?
I'm positive.
You have allergies?
Asthma.
Oh, you have that? You told me that the last time. Yeah, I've been suffering with this allergy season. It's terrible, isn't it? So who knows? Anyway, Danny Kael on the American Dream supposedly is a jokester, knows how to tell
Oh,
a joke
no,
or
he
two.
tells great
smile, you know.
jokes.
And before the show started, folks, you'd like to quote politicians. Well, one of my favorite presidents is Calvin Coolidge, Silent Cal. And I was mentioning to Sir James that a young reporter, a Cinder type, a very energetic young lady, walked over to Calvin Coolidge and said to him, "You see those guys over there? I bet them that I could get you to say 3 words." And he looked at her and he said, "You lose." Like that one?
No.
You know, I thought it was quite good, to be honest with you. I mean, you know. See, here's the difference between the right and the left. They can't laugh. We can. Anyway, so tell me, Elizabeth Warren, what do you think? Is she going to make the cut?
I love Elizabeth Warren.
You do?
Yeah.
Does
and
she know that?
No. But I'll tell you why. And you,
Mark it down?
she can spot an issue as well as anybody. She can develop a plan to deal with it. Most important of all, she can figure out a way to pay for it. And that's very unusual in the political world.
Really?
Yeah.
And how is she going to pay for it? The only way you
Well-
can pay for it is by raising taxes, my friend.
Wealth tax.
We're waiting for results from City Hall. What was that?
The wealth tax.
She's pretty wealthy. She made sure it was above her wealth level. She's a multimillionaire many times over, isn't she?
Doesn't affect me.
No, I know
It
that.
doesn't affect most people I know.
Yeah.
And by the way, what's the big deal giving 2 cents on a dollar?
Let's take a look at-
Over $50 million.
We'll put that aside for a minute because we got to go to the 2017 results and make comparatives. So, you got your sheet there,
Ah.
James?
Yeah, LaPierre.
Oh, wait a minute. We're getting
I
results
started
in
to
here.
make a prediction a couple of minutes ago, and that's what I was going to predict. LaPierre
Top
comes
the
in
ticket, huh?
first.
Oh, that was in 17,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay. So they put up there. And-
By the way, Barton may do it this time because he's been campaigning like hell. Buzzy knows how to get around, and he's been doing it.
Actually, there's a fairly close race between Field, Tasso, and
And Ford.
Yeah, those three, that was pretty tight, wasn't it?
Who's the third guy you mentioned?
And I wonder why Figueroa didn't run this time. He ran a pretty good race.
I don't think he lives in Lynn anymore.
Oh, he moved down.
I think so.
Oh. So, yeah, there they are up there. So those are the 17 results. I wonder what's going to happen there. And here are the results in the wards back in 17. It's O'Shea. Yeah, look at, well,
Yeah.
O'Shea, that was what, 300 votes roughly?
Less, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty close rate. Gina ran a really good race against Stombard, actually.
Yeah, she did.
And that was the race in which I couldn't believe how many signs McGrain had out there. It
Oh.
was incredible.
But that's probably the best example of signs don't vote.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was
take that.
incredible the way he had signs.
Manny-Atis, almost 400, right? Something in that range, 300 to 400. And that's the tight race. This is a rematch that's worth looking at again. Marvin and Diane, that's going to be an interesting race too.
Yeah.
You know what's encouraging is that you have a number of
She only
women.
won by, according to this, 105 votes.
Yeah, are we going to have any results on tonight? Do you know as how they finished? No, we don't. Or not. So we're going to be waiting on. Oh, we're waiting on it. Okay. So hang in there. We'll try to give you a rundown of what happened in the school committee race this year,
Yeah.
and also in the at-large and the ward races. Find out what the ranges are. But so far, I must tell you that as far as Ward 6 is concerned, I'm going to reiterate, there's no losers in Ward 6. Yeah? Those are two fine candidates,
Yeah, they are.
unlike you and I.
No, Joe,
Oh, all right.
again, I'm
I'll
gonna
restate that. Unlike me.
respectfully disagree.
So,
No, you were fine also.
well, she actually, Cinda, is the American dream. She is typically the immigrant story, seeking a better life, coming from, Pol Pot was not a very nice guy.
Oh, geez.
And what they had to put up with is incredible. Results. Well, we're taking a look at results if you want to get them. And what do I see here? Put it down a little bit so I can read it properly. Anyway, see, that's because I can't
Well,
hear Jamaican C.
That's okay.
Breakdown.
By the way, Fred Hogan is also an outstanding.
Very nice man.
person,
I never met him before, but he's
Yeah.
sincere, hardworking.
Yeah.
In the old days, we'd call him the salt of the earth.
I think that's good
And
description.
the Ward 6 breakdown in? Yeah, we're going to do it again? Okay. Ward 6, where is it? We're going to put it up?
10 vote difference.
By precinct. They're going to give it to you by precinct? I guess not. That's not by precinct. So Hogan won by 10 votes. And how many are out there? There's 150, 250, about 250 votes to be grabbed by either one of those two, right?
Oh yeah, but I don't think that really counts. I mean, I don't think all those people are anti-Hogan or anti-Don.
No, I agree.
They
But those votes have to go somewhere.
oh yeah.
All right. So Is this by precinct here? You see that? You can see it, James. There
Yeah, I
is
can
up
see it.
there.
What do you want to know?
How does she do by precinct? Or how'd they do?
Well,
Any
that's a
strengths?
great question. Wait a minute, they keep moving it
Can you
along.
see
All
it?
right, yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
She,
There they are. So precinct one,
she won by 1 vote in precinct 1.
Castle.
She romped.
Castle, yeah, did pretty well.
She romped in 6-2. And
Oh my God, 6-4. Castle got creamed in 6-4, didn't he? And she
where's
held her
that?
own.
That's
So
Pine-
6-4 is Hogan's home
that's
turf.
Pine Hill,
6-4 is Pine Hill?
I believe it is.
Well,
No,
he
no,
won-
no, 6-1 is Pine Hill.
Well, 6-4, Hogan's very strong. He was very strong actually in 6-3, wasn't he?
Yeah, 6-1 is Pine Hill.
6-1 and 6-2 is, she was pretty even throughout all the wards. She was pretty steady everywhere, in every precinct. I mean, if you look at Hogan, if you exclude 6-1 and 6-2, he didn't do that well. I mean, he racked everything, 6-3 and 6-4. She, if you take a peek here, she was steady across the board, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
So, you know,
85, 65, 76,
Yeah.
76.
and Castle, if it wasn't for 6-2, well, actually 6-2 and 6-4 did him in pretty well, you know? Look at the numbers there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, I have no idea what the compositions are in the precincts. Do you know there? 6-4
Yeah.
is Pine Hill?
No, it's just the opposite. 6-1 is Pine Hill.
So 6-1 is where, actually Castle did quite
Levis
well.
Leap Avenue, yeah, that's his neighborhood.
Right, so he did
And
quite
he had
well
the
there.
neighborhood plastered with
She did
signs.
very well there herself.
Yeah, she did, she beat him.
What's
by
impressive
1 vote.
about the fact is that she did so well evenly across the precincts. That's unusual.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I don't, she said they knocked on 10,000 doors.
Yeah.
I didn't think there were that many doors in Ward 6.
Each ward has about 10, well, let's go, think about it. There's 7 wards, right? We have about 90,000.
Yeah,
It's probably around 13,000 per ward. Maybe it's a little,
those are residents, not voters.
I understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
But she was talking about doing, well, you know, that could have been a little bit of an embellishment, but politicians have been known to embellish somewhat, particularly folks from your side of the aisle.
Oh, man.
I sung that one in there, folks. So we're waiting on the results of forget Ward 2, that's uncontested. We already know 6. We have to take a peek at 1. I'd be interested to see how O'Shea does in 1. And I'd really be interested in seeing what the lineup is in the at-large race in the school committee.
What's
And
this?
so, no results are in yet.
No results.
No. Anyway, oh, there's a good pictures over there. Brian Field did a nice job. He did very poorly in a ward race
Ward
against
7.
Walsh, as a matter
Yeah,
of
Ward
fact, right?
7, yeah.
And it looked like he would have been more formidable, but Walsh cleaned his clock.
Right.
And then he turned around and ran at large the next time out, and he got himself in there. He worked hard,
He did.
you know?
Anybody who gets elected works hard. Nobody just walks in, you know.
Yeah, or they have something, or, you know, they have good management. Well, it depends. What about the Lynn City Committee? Is it active? Does it take a role in any of these positions? Is
Oh, in the
Agnes?
council races? No, I don't think so.
So she stays out of it, right?
Well, she might help individuals, but she does it on her own. She doesn't do it as an official member of the committee.
Let's get back to Elizabeth Warren, your girlfriend there. So,
Look,
Tell-
here's the thing about Elizabeth.
yeah, what about her?
She really does explain how she's going to pay for what she wants to do.
The wealth tax, you call it. There isn't
Well,
enough,
that's one of
there
the-
isn't
that's
enough
one of
wealth
the-
out there to pay for her programs.
That's one of the ways.
Oh, yeah. What's the other way?
I don't know. You got to talk. You got to listen to her.
I'm sorry. I'll listen.
You got to listen to her.
I can't. She's fundamentally a socialist. She claims she's a capitalist, but she's fundamentally a socialist. By the way, interestingly, she was a Republican until 1995.
I know.
Okay. And the reason why she became a Democrat is because you can't be a Republican at Harvard Law School. You know, just doesn't work. That's anathema. So I'm interested in her, how she went from being a Republican, how she went for amassing several $1 million in her kitty to all of a sudden becoming a socialist. I don't understand that.
She saw the light,
Oh,
but I think part of the reason is that she specialized in bankruptcy cases. And she saw the nightmare,
in bankruptcy laws?
yeah, in the nightmares that people were having who were going bankrupt, caused by,
You're an attorney by profession.
I am.
And she graduated from Newark, did she not?
From where?
Rutgers, Newark Law School.
Oh, I don't know. where
Yes,
she went.
Rutgers, Newark. It made it to Harvard Law. That's unusual.
That's because she's so smart, I'm telling you.
No, that's
She's
because
really smart.
she was part Indian, Cherokee, I think.
I don't think you can find any record anywhere that says, we're going to hire her because she's an Indian. I don't think you'd find that anywhere.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Huh?
And
They claimed that they had a minority on their faculty and pointed to her.
that's not why she got hired. I mean, you won't find it in the record, in their records.
Do you think she's going to get the nomination?
I do.
Okay.
I think, look, it's wide open, you know that. I mean,
Yeah, I do. That's why I asked you.
But I
So you think she's
got-
going to get the nomination?
I think she's really well organized in Iowa, and that's the first one off the block. If you recall past elections, it looks like everybody's close and everybody's got a chance. But the minute Iowa comes out, it clears the field. And
I
New
was-
Hampshire, followed by New Hampshire.
I was impressed by Seattle. She put a big crowd in Seattle.
12,000 people or something.
For her, that's
She
a
did
big
that.
one,
She
yeah.
did that in Minnesota.
She pulled a big crowd there. I also am interested in what's going to happen when Bernie and her now have to go to war with each other. Up to now, they have not.
She's been playing that cool. She says she likes Bernie, she's a friend, and
Yeah.
I don't think she has to go to war with him. I think he's going to destroy himself.
Bernie?
Yeah,
Bernie comes across somewhat nasty.
he does.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember from 4 years ago, when he ran against Hillary.
And finally, the press has mentioned that because they said that he was very nasty at a particular restaurant that he was at. He treated people very badly.
Yeah.
And if that catches on, you're
Oh,
right.
He's gone.
I may dislike Elizabeth Warren's policies, but I don't think she's a disagreeable person per se. You know.
Yeah.
And Biden has such a history of, I mean, talk about a guy that he could easily write with the Grimm brothers, remember the fairy tales?
the Brothers Grimm,
I mean,
yeah.
this guy comes up with stories and he believes them. That's the funny feature. I mean, he actually believes his own stories and they're made up. And the press lets him get away.
Well, wait a minute. What about the president? Does he believe his own stories? Do you think?
What, President Trump?
Yeah.
President Trump is interesting to me. Put aside that he has some mannerisms. The results, are they in? Are they coming in now? Okay.
Oh, that's a Trump.
We'll get to that
ploy.
later. Let's
Yeah.
see what we got coming up here. Is this
Look at that.
is now. LaPierre,
Hognet's ahead of LaPierre. And Barton,
Honnet,
I called Barton before.
Field, yeah.
He came in first.
Yeah, Barton's out there.
Good job, Buzzy.
Wait a second now. So the four seem to have it pretty well
They got
at
renominated.
hand, right?
Yeah.
And,
The other three are not.
and Buzzy worked hard.
He did.
Honnet moved to second, huh?
Yeah.
That's a really impressive move on his part.
You know, I wonder if that's related to, is there any chance that we could see what Hongnet got in Ward 6?
That would be precinct-wide?
I wonder if it's related to Cindy Don.
That's an interesting point,
Yeah,
that she helped his...
Yeah.
Is it possible, Dave? Dave's done a wonderful job, by the way,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got to give Seth. You know, since Seth has been here, this place has really gone. You know,
Cooking with gas.
done a good job here, and we're talking about Seth Altman. Yeah, that's a great point, Jimmy.
Yeah.
If there's any way that we could possibly put up the precinct breakdown in Ward 6 of the Council at Large race, see whether there's a correlation
Just
between.
Ward, yeah, Ward 6.
Yeah, between just Ward 6. That's all we'd have to see,
yeah.
to see whether Net how we did. No, they don't have that breakdown.
Okay, we can read-
So,
read
we
that
got the
tomorrow.
school, what's coming up now? All finals, here they come. Okay, Losey, you said it, that's fairly close considering the amount of work that Losey put out there. That's surprising. Sarah and Maniatis, that surprises
Wow.
me.
Yeah, it is.
And actually, you're right, Diane does a good job because she increased her lead.
Yeah,
So the big surprise to me is Maniatis and Sarah.
yeah. I agree with you.
Huh?
I agree with you.
That would be. The rest of it seems to be, and and also the surprising is the margin that Diane, you said she does a good job, she's a good counselor, it just translated
Yeah,
there.
That's how it works,
Huh.
yeah.
So you're right about, James, you know what you're talking about. You really do. Folks, you better listen to this guy. And Losey, not taking anything for granted, you mentioned O'Shea comes from a powerful,
He does.
family, and that, given the fact that, Wayne's got his army out there, I mean, he's worked hard already, that's gonna be,
So Wayne won by 139 votes.
yeah. But you haven't heard or seen O'Shea out there yet. I haven't.
Right.
You say he's on the side streets. I haven't gone to side streets. So that's it. School committee, is that coming up now?
Times.
And, no, that's back to 6. Hogan and Don are the finalists. Those are 2 new faces.
Yeah.
Okay. And school committee is coming up, and we'll see the range on that. I'm a little surprised that, although Brian didn't do very much, I haven't seen very much of Brian, but I'm a little
Brian
surprised
Field.
that he slipped.
Well, Brian's LaPierre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of him either.
Yeah, I think he slipped a little bit, but he hasn't been doing too much. But for that matter, none of them have, except for Buzzy.
Right.
Okay, here's the school committee. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any changes there either, does it?
Capola topped it.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally,
Capola, Ford, Castellanos.
Donna gets rewarded.
Satterwhite.
I mean, she does a good job, so. And Ford, he's
Gately and Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the incumbents are going to get reelected. The others are way behind.
Gately has improved her positioning, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great kid. I taught
She's
with her.
very nice. Yeah, she's very nice.
Science teacher, and she was at St. Mary's
Yeah,
for
she
a while
was.
too.
Yeah, that's where I met her. Yeah.
So I think I was with her at Thurgood Marshall. I'm not sure, but it seems to ring a bell. But that lineup, and it's nice to see that Satterwhite and Castellanos are still there, and he's a good kid. This Nicholson's he's a hardworking kid.
He's a smart guy. He's a very smart
Yeah.
guy.
And Lopez and Magnolia, they have to do a little more work to get into
They do.
get into the hunt.
And again, congratulations for all the hard work that you've done, and stay with the hard work.
So as it stands now, it doesn't seem like the council at large makeup is going to change that much,
No.
as we're talking tonight.
Right.
Same
you-
thing with the school committee.
Right.
The big surprise is Ward 3. Ward 1 is still, and Ward 1, 3, and 5, the odd
Well,
wards.
5 is. Diane looks like she's got a pretty good lead there.
Yeah, she opened up.
Yeah.
Losey and O'Shea are still, within striking
Yeah.
distance. And Maniatis would probably be the biggest surprise, being that close to see it.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And I don't know what it all means.
It
That's
means
pretty
you
much
gotta
it.
work hard.
So are we into wrap time? Or we want to review the results?
I don't think we need to review the results.
And they putting, here we go again. At large, LaPierre, number 1, Buzzy. Congratulations, Buzzy. I asked him one time why he does so well. He says, I'm a nice guy. And I said, you know something? You are.
He is.
And he is.
He is.
So
His
congratulations, Buzz.
His mother was a good friend of mine.
Great lady, great
Yeah.
lady. And sister's a great girl,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And everything else is pretty bunched. I mean, LaPierre and Net and Field are all pretty close. And that's about it. This is at the ward races. Losey and O'Shea, that's stacking up pretty good. That's the interesting one right there. Maniatis and Sear.
Yeah.
Colucci's got a big lead, and Diane has opened up some space for herself.
Yeah.
And where are we going to? Here we go to the ward races. Ward 6.
Walsh has got it made.
Yeah, Walsh looks like he's on his way home. And the big night, the big one is Hogan and Don.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
the big one.
That's a big deal.
School committee, I mean, Donna Capola, what is it with her?
She's hardworking,
She is a hard worker,
Yeah.
and she's empathetic.
and she's a good politician.
Yes, she
And she
is.
comes from a good political family. I mean, Pat Capola is a great politician. Harry was. They know what they're doing.
You know, Grandpa Ford.
And by the way, I'm not taking anything away from Donna. She's probably the best politician of all in the family. No, I'm serious.
I see Pat out there with the signs all of the time. The guy doesn't quit. I mean, he's a throwback.
Yeah, he was in my Senate race.
He's without a question, he's almost legendary. And,
Yes.
I wish the young people would, he is a perfect subject to go into the schools to talk about the way politics went. He was definitely,
Yeah, but
fascinating guy.
I don't know the kids are even interested.
Did Pat run for mayor?
Pat Capola?
Yeah, I think he
No.
did way back. Or he intended to, or
Possibly.
Yeah.
In '71, they all ran.
Jimmy, it's been a pleasure. We got about 4
Yeah.
minutes left. So Danny Kale is coming up on your show.
He is.
Frankly speaking, this week has not. Well, we have a surprise for you. I have an original score written by a Polish conductor. Seriously, it's a great, great musical piece, and it's a theme for a play that's being written by one of my sages, and it's all about why does a young Palestinian woman this actual thing, blow herself up.
Oh,
And it's a fascinating play. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the second half of the show to play the original score, and he will speak into it as to what that music is. How-
that's when's that?
It will be this. We're going to be doing it this Thursday.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and he's going to be talking about this play that is 3 years in the making. So it should be fascinating. And he got permission from the Palestinian woman's family. They trusted him, and he happens to be Jewish. So that's even more fascinating.
It is very fascinating.
And it's he's trying to tell the story from the perspective of the Palestinian. Why would one blow themselves up? I could never do it. Not in my DNA. In fact, I don't like death.
No, neither do I.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'm hoping not to show up for my own wake.
I'm going to show up for mine.
Are you? 2 minutes, and then they can go. I gotta go find my dog Luigi and give him a little kiss. He's such a sweetheart.
Got a dog, Luigi.
Yeah, Luigi. What do you think I'm gonna call him? Brian?
Patrick.
James, it's been an absolute
Yeah,
pleasure,
same
and we
here.
ought to do this
always
more
enjoy
often.
working with you, Joe.
Folks, if you like what you saw, let us know. So we'll be back, for the final?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they'll take a look and say, these guys are good.
Oh, maybe not. They say, Jesus, get rid of these guys. All right. Pleasure,
great
Joe. Yeah, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Congratulations to everybody who ran. Be seeing you.